ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 16 verse 16. Anek chit vibhranta moha jala samavritaha prasaktaha kama bhogeshu patanti narake ashuchau. Perplexed by many desires and anxieties, entangled in a net of delusion, and excessively attached to sensual pleasures, they fall into an impure hell. In the last three verses, Shri Krishna had explained that how the demoniac nature are guided by their arrogant thoughts and ideas. They are so proud of their wealth and power that they don't consider anything in front of them. So deluded by their arrogance and deluded by their intense desire to enjoy sense pleasures, they continue engaging in sinful activities, which lead to a lot of anxiety. Now, they are of course trying to get happiness. That is the reason they try to amass more and more wealth, and they try to gather more and more objects of sense pleasure. But the result is an increase in their anxieties. All the time they are disturbed, all the time they are stressed, and therefore they in fact do not live a very happy and peaceful life. They live a very distressed life full of anxieties. And this is a hellish condition. See, there is a hell and heaven, and there is hellish condition and heavenly condition. So in this life also, we can make our life very hellish. And such is the situation of those who are demoniac in nature. Their present life becomes hellish because of unlimited anxieties, worries, and stress and frustrations. And of course, because of their sinful activities, after giving up this body, they fall down to hellish planets. So Shri Krishna is describing this in this verse 16, that such people are perplexed by many desires. What does that mean? That they are not able to figure out whether these desires are good for them or bad for them. Their senses are so powerful. Their mind is so much full of sensual desires that they are completely bewildered by them. They are not able to determine that such material desires are actually harmful to them. Just like those who smoke a cigarette, right, or drink alcohol. It's not that they don't know that this is injurious to their health, but the desire to enjoy is so strong that they completely ignore the warnings on the label. So similarly, even though the scriptures are telling us that indulgence in senses is harmful for our life, both our physical health and emotional health as well as spiritual health, but we are so bewildered, so perplexed by these desires that we are not able to give them up, and this causes anxieties. And we see this condition all around us. Even though the world has become much more advanced technically, right? We have so much more forms of luxuries today than we had 100 years ago. There is so much computerization, so immense level of technical advancement, through which more and more people are able to fulfill their material desires. But honestly speaking, are people more happy? Are people more satisfied? Are they more peaceful? Are they stress free? Not really. I think most people would vouch for the fact that those who lived 20, 30, 50, or 100 years ago were, though not technologically very advanced, even though they did not have access to so many comforts and luxuries, but they were much happier. So, in fact, the level of demoniac nature in the world is increasing, and this is because of the unsatiated material desire to acquire more and more and more. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ji writes in the commentary that the demoniac man knows no limit to his desire to acquire money. That is unlimited. See, money is meant to live the life to fulfill our basic needs. It is a means, not an end. But we have made money the end goal of our life. Therefore, even though we have enough, still we are working hard to acquire more. As I was explaining last time also, that most people, especially in the Western world, can say that they have enough to live their life, right? But they're still trying to accumulate more because they're not satisfied with what they have. They're in fact perplexed by their desires, especially those who are millionaires. Right? Don't they have enough to live their life? Why can't they spend now their time in spiritual activities? No. Now that they have 10 million, they want 100 million, then they want a billion. So this desire to acquire money, which is not a permanent asset, it'll be all gone at the time of death. But still, the desire is so intense that we sacrifice the precious moments of life to acquire more and more of it. Such people think only of how much assessment he has just now and schemes to engage that stock of wealth further and further. Srila Prabhupada states, for that reason he does not hesitate to act in any sinful way and so deals in the black market for illegal gratification. And we see that how the level of corruption is increasing across the board because people are not satisfied what they are able to make legally, honestly. So therefore they take to illegal ways, not knowing that such practices are not only illegal from the perspective of the laws of the land, but they're also illegal from the Lord's perspective, from the perspective of the rules of religion. And such sinful things will only lead to hellish life. Srila Prabhupada states that such a person is enamored by the possessions he has already, such as land, family, house, and bank balance, and he is always planning to improve them. He believes in his own strength and he does not know that whatever he is gaining is due to his past good deeds. He is given an opportunity to accumulate such things, but he has no conception of past causes. He simply thinks that all his mass of wealth is due to his own endeavor. A demoniac person believes in the strength of his personal work, not in the law of karma. So, see, this is how we are taught in today's world, that believe in yourself, you can do anything. While that's a good way of thinking, but we always have to remember that it is not only our strength, our capabilities that are required for success. There are other ingredients as well. The truth is that we only get what we are destined to get. Of course, for that also we have to make some effort. But when we make that effort, we think that we have acquired it by our strength, whereas we have only acquired it because we were destined to get it. If we had not made that effort, then we would also not receive what we were destined to receive. So there is, of course, your effort, but there is also bhagya, or your karma from the past life. So it is our activities from the past life that become our good or bad fortune in this life. And then there are other things. The mercy of the Lord has to be there. The time has to be right. The place has to be right. So there are many things that are required for the success of a person, success of a project. Just like when you sow a seed in the ground, you need water, you need oxygen, you need sunlight, then you also need to root out the weeds as the plant grows. So there are many things, it's not just one thing. But those who are not God conscious, they think that it is only by their own strength, by their own abilities, that they are becoming successful. Just like a person who sows a seed in the ground thinks that he is growing the plant, whereas there are many other things. Because if they were not there, if there was no water, if there was no sunshine, if there was no air, then the plant will not grow. Similarly, if you don't have the good fortune from your previous life's karmas, if you don't have the right place, the time, and the mercy of the Lord is not there, then however hard a person may work, it would not bear results. And we see that so many people endeavor. While we only hear the stories of those who have become successful, there are many who even after doing a lot of hard labor are not able to succeed. Why? Because they don't have the good fortune. They don't have the strength of piety or strength of good karma from their previous lives. Srila Prabhupada states that according to the law of karma, a man takes his birth in a high family or becomes rich or very well educated or very beautiful because of good work in the past. The demoniac think that all these things are accidental and due to the strength of one's personal ability. They do not sense any arrangement behind all the varieties of people, beauty, and education. So of course they don't believe in the past life, they don't believe in the Supreme Lord, they don't believe in a Supreme Controller. So they think that everything is happening by chance. This world has come into existence by chance, and whatever capabilities one has, it's also just because of their own abilities. But the reality is, we are part of this immense creation which is created by the most intelligent personality, the Supreme Lord. And everything happens by His mercy, by His desire. We are only suffering the results of our good or bad karma. We don't have real ability to do anything. See, the simple fact of the matter is that we can't make the movement of the sun one way or the other. Right? The sun rises and sets based on the laws of the Lord. If the sun would not rise or set, would you be able to do anything? And if the sun shifted a little bit, then the life as we know on earth will come to an end in no time. Within 24 hours, everything will be finished. If the oxygen was taken away, all of us will perish within seconds. So, where is our ability? We can't create oxygen, we can't create sunlight, but foolishly we keep thinking that we are the masters of our destiny, that we are the controllers. And that's why we keep fighting with each other, because whatever we have, we think we are its controllers and nobody else has any right on it. So if this country belongs to us, nobody else can come on that land, as if we are the ones who created that land. There is this height of arrogance, foolishness, delusion that the entire world suffers from. And therefore, because of this immense ignorance, everyone is suffering. Srila Prabhupada states that anyone who comes into competition with such a demoniac man is his enemy. There are many demoniac people, and each is enemy to the others. It is only people who are demoniac in nature that they see someone as their enemy. One who is a devotee, he never sees anyone as an enemy. That is the quality of a devotee, that he is friendly towards everyone. He is very compassionate towards everyone, because he sees that everything is the possession of the Lord. He is the supreme master. Nothing belongs to me because I have not created anything. I am only consuming things that have been mercifully given to me by the Lord to sustain my life and engage it in devotional service. But those who are demoniac, they don't see the world as the design of the Lord. They don't see a higher purpose of the life. They only think that they are the possessors, they are the owners, they are the masters, and therefore they see everyone else who tries to use those things or may claim possession of what they think are their possessions. They think those people are their enemies. So this enmity becomes more and more deep between persons, then between families, then between societies, and at last between nations. Therefore there is constant strife, war and enmity all over the world. And we see today also that this enmity, this strife and war is only increasing. Even though there is United Nations, even though there are so many different groups of nations, nobody is able to control such strifes and wars. Why? Because everyone is under the same illusion, under the same ignorance that I am the controller, or we are the controllers, or we are the masters of what we have. Srila Gurudev explains in the commentary that demoniac persons consider themselves to be Ishvara, the supreme controller, even though they are agitated by various petty anxieties and bound in a net of delusion. When we can't control our mind, when we can't control our anxieties, how can we be the supreme controllers? We can't even control what's going on inside our own body. We see all the time people who are very powerful, very rich, they suffer from a stroke or a heart attack and they are dead. So you can't control the creation of a small, tiny little clot in your body which will go and cause a heart attack or stroke. And we are trying to control everyone else and everything else around us. This is again ignorance. This is delusion. Srila Gurudev states that they even become instructors and teach their followers their own abominable conceptions. What are those conceptions? They tell others, oh, you yourself are the supreme controller and you can do whatever you like. Only a fool believes in any other controller. There is no such entity. So they brainwash others and try to delude them by these nonsensical ideas, by these atheistic ideas that there is no supreme controller. And they give all kind of illogical arguments. Of course, in a very flowery language, they try to sound very logical, and unfortunately many innocent and ignorant people get carried away by their ideas. So we see atheism rising more and more in the world. If there was not a supreme controller, if there was not a supreme person, how would this world even come into existence? When a simple device like this phone that you might be hearing this lecture through, you cannot build a simple phone without a very intelligent engineer and without having a manufacturing plant where many people are working, then how could have this immense universe come into existence without a supremely intelligent being? Something to think about. So Shri Gurudev states further that these people imagine that they can manufacture a special airplane by which they can go to any higher planet. Nowadays we are seeing the space race. Countries are trying to control the space. And again, it's a very foolish idea. Just being able to reach the moon, that also with so much effort, they start claiming, oh, we can conquer the other planets. Well, even our entire solar system, which we would not be able to get to every planet on this and within the solar system, is such a minuscule part of our entire galaxy. There are 100 billion stars, that means 100 billion suns in one galaxy, the Milky Way, and there are 100 billion such galaxies out there. So what are we actually trying to control? Not even the 1/1,000,000th of a speck of sand. If the solar system could be equivalent to a piece of a particle of sand in a big pile in which each particle of sand represents one sun. So just imagine 100 billion suns in one galaxy and such 100 billion galaxies. How many such suns are there? So how huge that pile of sand will be. And what are we trying to control? Not even a small portion of that one particle of sand. But we become so proud just being able to send one spaceship that is able to go some distance above the earth, and it's able to reach the moon. So Shri Gurudev states that such people have no faith in Vedic sacrifices and rituals, nor in the process of bhakti. Among such demons, Ravan was prominent. He had made a plan to build a staircase to the heavenly planets so that an ordinary person could go there without performing any Vedic sacrifice. So, in fact, according to the scriptures, we can go to higher planets only through the proper process described in the Vedic scriptures. So, even though we may think that we will be able to get to some of these higher planets like Mars, of course, nobody's thinking of going to Venus or Saturn, and then there are other higher planets. You cannot first of all reach there by any kind of spaceships, and then you cannot survive there because you don't have a body that is fit to live in those higher planets. So there is a proper process described in the scriptures. But just like Ravan, who was trying to build a staircase to the heaven without going through the process prescribed in the Vedic scriptures, he was killed by Lord Ramachandra and his plans were thus thwarted. And similarly, the plans of those who are trying to go to the higher planets, well, at this point only just up to the moon, they are not going to be ultimately very successful. At present, those with the demonic disposition are endeavoring to reach higher planets in various types of spacecraft. They do not know that they are on a path of destruction. Here the words moho jal samavritaha mean that due to the voracious nature of the tongue, a fish becomes caught in a net and loses its life. In the same way, those of demoniac nature fall into a network of delusion from which there is no escape. Thus they meet destruction. So in fact, we are all tied in this net called moha jal. Moha means illusion or maya. So because of our immense attachment to material things, that moha binds us in this net. just like a fish becomes caught in the net because of its desire to get that bait, right? That's how a fish is caught. And then what happens? It loses its life. So the Maya or the illusory energy gives us the bait of sense enjoyment. And then we get carried away by it. And then what happens? Then we are stuck in the web of illusion. And in this network of delusion, we are not able to escape. It only leads to hellish life in this world while we are living, and also to hellish life after that. The only way out is association of devotees. In their association, we can understand what is the real purpose of life, and we can take to devotional service, to the chanting of the holy names, and through this transcendental process, we can cut the shackles of illusion. We can come out of the mohajal, the net of delusion. By the process of bhakti, we can understand who we are, that we are eternal servants of the Lord, and our real place is in His eternal abode. And practicing devotional service under the guidance of devotees, we can attain the transcendental abode of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe. Have a very blessed day.